Hi everybody, that's Allie.
And that is Dash,
Welcome to our playdate.
where we choose a game, sometimes make up our own rules, and play for a while.
Enjoy listening and playing along.
Or don't. We can't hear you. It's a podcast.
I'm just posting my word of the day.
Oh yes, your word of the day.
It's very important. Although it's weird because the word of the day is auberge, which is very French.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, oh, I wonder what it means. So of course I read it.
Pretty sure it means
Because I'm
egg
thinking
or
it,
something.
I'm thinking it's related to like aubergine, which is what Canadians and British people call, and Australians call eggplant. Aubergine.
Aubergine.
Yeah, as far as I know, they're not related. So I'm gonna have to do a little more research later.
Fascinating.
Yeah, it means like an inn or a hostel, and I
Okay.
can't figure out how that relates to a long, dark purple
Eggplant.
vegetable-y like thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I love that there's still mysteries in the world.
Oh yeah. Well, it's funny to me that the word of the day is not inherently an English word, right? Like,
No, it is an English word. It's an English word, but it's French in origin. We have a ton of English words that are French in
well,
origin.
yes, yeah, but it's not a word that we use normally in.
I mean, that's why it's a word of the day and not just,
I guess.
hostile.
True. Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I bet you there's a lot of people out there who don't know what hostel is.
Well, it has a couple of meanings, but there was also that horror movie called Hostel.
There is. That's right.
Right?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, I never watched it, but
You heard things?
I heard things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, little ghosties.
Yeah. Hey, little ghosties.
Here we are. Here we are in the recording seat to play Hot Seat.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dash, this is a game you picked up, right? And
Right.
we're going to play it our way, but in theory, you're supposed to play it in a big group.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a judge.
We do what we always do.
And everyone writes a response. And then you're, I guess, trying to trick the judge into thinking the person in the hot seat wrote
Right.
that response.
And it's by Dice, spelled D-Y-C-E. Dice. And you can find it at hotseatgame.com.
All right. So,
But,
this is
yeah.
a big group game that we're going to play in a small group, which we
We're a
love to
tiny
do.
group, which is just us.
Just us and our ghost stuffed animals and the ghosties at home.
Yeah, I have
Yeah.
a lot of these little reversible animals here now. So I have 2 giant reversible ghosts, and I have 2 little reversible ghosts. No, wait, I have 1 reversible ghost,
You have,
a reversible pineapple panda.
yeah, you have like 3 of them.
Yeah.
And we got to apologize for our voices. We have not been caring for our instruments
Not at all.
as we should have lately.
No.
I've been in a musical theater space, so I'm just fully singing musicals in my commute to and from work, and I don't
Warm
know
up.
how to sing. I'm not trained.
Right.
I just blast my vocal cords out, so I'm sounding a little bit different
Yeah.
today.
And I'm a voice actor in my as one of my side gigs, so I have accidentally been straining my voice because I was doing a job that is
Required a lot of
it's-
talking.
Yeah, it requires talking to children, and children aren't the best listeners sometimes.
Really? That's shocking news for everyone
Is it?
out there
Yeah.
with children.
Yeah.
Just shocking,
Yeah.
cutting edge news. All right, should we get into this game?
Yeah, let's get
So
into
how you
this
want to
game.
do it? We each have a pile of
Right.
cards that we have shuffled.
We have shuffled.
We
Pro
always
shuffling
shuffle.
podcast.
We are pro shuffling.
Yeah.
And we'll just do a little back and forth. You'll be in the
Well,
hot seat, and then I will.
Let's go over how you're supposed to play the game.
Well, I kind of did already. Were you not
Okay.
listening to that?
No, I was, but I figured you wanted to go more in detail, or no?
They're
I'll do
smart.
whatever you want to do. Okay, yeah, that's smart. Okay.
I already explained it.
Okay.
They already got it. They've moved on. Now they're upset
That
because
we
you
wasted
weren't
their time.
listening.
Got it. So the way we're gonna play it is.
Should we just pause so you can cut it in here?
No, I'm gonna leave all this in. This is what makes the podcast entertaining. I'm gonna flip over a card and read a thing, and then I'm going to try. Oh wait, there's a little notepad that you're supposed to write on.
Oh, I love a game that comes with a
Yeah, it comes with
notepad.
cute little notepads. So I'm gonna take a
Oh, I
notepad, and
love
you're gonna
it.
take a notepad. There you go.
Oh, great.
And then
Oh, okay, wait. I know we're going to rate it later, but this notepad is great. It's giving like holiday labels where there's like 2 and they're perforated. And I love it.
yeah.
Oh, I love a perforation. Like the satisfaction when you just rip it perfectly
Yes. Yep.
is like one tiny little joy in
and
human
the
life.
sadness when you don't rip it
And
perfect.
the true devastation, like you really feel like I can't do anything right. I cannot even do the simplest thing. And the opposite feeling, like they're completely opposite feelings.
Yeah.
One is like, I am a champion of this entire universe.
And the greatest in the world.
I am the greatest in the world. And the other is like, I'm devastated. I need to stay inside for the rest of the day. Yeah. I don't deserve nice things.
So you have a pen there.
Yeah.
We'll share the pen because I don't want to get up and get another pen. But what
I
I'll do
probably
is
have a pen.
I'll flip over the card. You're going to write your answer so that you can't change it later. I will try to answer the question as you, and then you will reveal your answer to see if I got it right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's how I want to do it? All right.
Yeah, let's play it that way.
Sure.
Since we don't have a big group of people.
Oops.
Oh, wow. Okay. This is going to be tough because I feel like there's a lot of things to this. What question will I never say yes to? What question will I never say yes to?
I being me.
You being you.
Allie.
So what question will Allie never say yes to? Okay, I think I've got it. If you want to
There's
write
a
down your
lot of
answer. I know. I feel like there's a
questions I would
lot
never
of
say
things
yes
that
to.
you're vehemently against.
Why don't you just say it and then they'll tell you? Because I don't have one. I
Yeah.
have many that I would never
So
say
you'll tell me
yes
if I'm
to.
right. Okay.
Yeah. I know yours.
Okay. So I think that the question you will never say yes to is, would you like another piece of cake?
It depends on where my blood sugar is. To be honest with you. It depends.
Okay.
I was at a wedding recently and I had 2 pieces of cake because I was dancing and it was...
Oh, and your blood sugar
She
was
was
taking a dive.
really needing some cake.
Gotcha.
So, yeah. Food questions, it's always like an it depends situation. You,
Yeah.
it's do you want to help me move?
But that depends also, I think. I feel like
The answer is always no,
Right.
but there are people that
Sure.
you would make exceptions for.
Right. And I'd be like,
same here.
I want everything in boxes. I want everything ready to go. I'm going to help you move the boxes from your old place into the truck and from the truck into your new place and nothing else.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you want to help me move? Is always
Right.
like.
I feel like I'm way too considerate a person when I ask people to help me move because like nobody's ever that considerate when they ask me. But like when people help me move, I literally had somebody come over and just sit in my living room and watch my stuff while I moved from one place to another.
But you were also moving within the same complex.
Correct.
Like you were
Yeah, that was
moving a couple
easier, yeah.
doors down. It wasn't like you were moving across town.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, which is a different
Right.
vibe. Yeah, totally different vibe.
Yeah. So good call. Yeah. I think
right.
you were pretty good on that.
Yeah. There's lots of questions that I would never
Uh-huh.
say yes to. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
no one has forgotten about that time I blank.
Ooh. No one has forgotten about that time I... Oh, what's something they bring up all the time?
Yeah, I don't know. I could tell you what it is for. I mean, there's lots of things. We have a lot of inside jokes.
Yeah.
But that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing.
Right. Well, I don't think it necessarily means it's going to be a bad thing. Like people could...
Well, it says unfortunately
Oh,
no one has
unfortunately.
forgotten.
That's true.
Which means
Unfortunately
it's
is
a
in there.
thing that you want people to forget.
Right. Unfortunately, nobody has forgotten about the time I'm trying to think of like what's one of those things where he was like, "Oh man, remember when Dash did this?" But like there was nothing there. I don't think there's ever been anything that embarrassing because I usually own up to things.
Right.
So because it doesn't bother me, people tend
And
to be
also
like, "Oh, it
you're
doesn't
not
bother him."
a particularly private person. Like you post
Also,
stuff
yeah.
on Instagram and
Yeah.
like yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I say that it's about that time you were a professional wrestler, but like
That's
that's
not
not
really
an unfortunate
unfortunately, yeah.
thing. It's just like a thing that when people find out, they're like, oh, and then they ask you a million questions.
Oh,
about
I've
it.
got one for me. Nobody at work has forgotten, at least when the people who still work there, has forgotten about the time that I walked in heels for a while. Let me explain that story. They were doing an event to bring awareness to the inequities of women, right? and they did a thing called Walk in My Shoes.
I think I think that's a national event.
Oh, possibly.
That people do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what is it? Women's History Month. I've seen it. Stuff like that.
So one of the things was they had a bunch of women's heels, and they were like, men wear these and walk for 100 feet or so and back in the heels. The problem was that I was such a big dude that I didn't fit in any of the heels that they brought.
That's the part of the story that I was like, what? Because it's not that you're a big dude; it's that you have very wide feet.
I do, a very wide feet.
You have very wide, like hobbity sort of feet, and most women's feet are not like that.
Correct. Yeah.
And there are women who have wide feet, which is fine.
Yeah.
But they have to go to specially made shoes, and if you're just buying a bunch of shoes for this event, you're not going to go and buy.
Yeah. This was a bunch of people who just
shoes.
gave their shoes for this event, right?
Right.
But anyway, I'm out there and I was like, oh, I really want to do this or whatever because I want to set the example. Because nobody else was doing it, and I was just like, I'll be the first one to go, but I couldn't find a shoe that fit. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. I just happened to have a pair of heels in my car. So I went to my car. I grabbed the pair of heels that I had in my car. I came out. I walked 100 feet there and back, and it was fine. The reason I had the because
were they from Rocky Horror?
They were from Rocky Horror.
Okay.
Yeah, we had just
There we
done
go.
Rocky Horror improv show, and I still had the heels that I had to buy to do Rocky Horror improv show in my car. So I had the Frankfurter heels.
That was fun. We should do it again.
We should do it again. I really enjoyed that show.
Yeah, that was a fun show.
Mhm.
I don't even remember what we did, but it was a fun show.
We played a bunch of weird games.
Yeah.
I know we played Dead Bodies. We played
I think it was just a Halloween show where we
Yeah.
all dressed up like Rocky Horror characters, which honestly, solid.
yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
very
I
fun.
think I can actually find a corset that'll fit me now.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, it would be.
You want to read another one?
Yeah, let's read another one.
Yeah, we're not even playing this the way that we decided we were going to play
Right.
it. Using these tiny little notepads that are so cute.
I know. What one word sums up my experience with the opposite sex? So that's for you.
For me?
Yeah. Well, I guess we're just doing this to each other, so it doesn't really matter. What one word sums up my experience?
What would you say for me?
Okay. I think you would answer sparse.
Yeah, that or lucky was the one that I had.
Oh, lucky's a good one.
Yeah, like
Yeah, you luck into two pretty good relationships.
I used to say like I don't really understand human mating rituals, and I really don't in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel really lucky that I dated the majority of people that I've dated were all pre like dating apps.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm in a relationship now, and we met the old quote unquote old fashioned way.
Mm-hmm.
And then my previous partner, we also met quote unquote the old fashioned way. And like, I'm so lucky that I don't have to do dating apps because it seems really bad.
It sucks.
It seems just, and I was on them for a short while intermittently, you know, and it was just the few interactions I had. I was like, this makes me feel icky inside.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like men my father's age messaging me because I was quote still in my childbearing years. Like, sir,
Ooh.
No.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was just not good feelings all around. So
Yeah. I'm not saying that on our end it's any
sparse
worse.
and lucky. Yeah.
Yeah. On our end, it's not any worse, but it's also not any better. Like on the guy's end, it's pretty much a desert. And
Yeah, I think it's just bad for everyone. And I honestly think if you find somebody that you like vibe with, whether it's the old fashioned way in meat space, as a friend of ours would say, or online or however, like it's all just like luck,
Yeah.
you know? I mean, I also think there's a lot of people that most people are compatible with. Like that idea of the one is not really a thing.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to be in the same space as that person. You have to be in the same timeline as that person.
Right.
You have to be like looking at the same, like there's a lot of things that have to align in order for you to meet a person that you're compatible
Yeah.
with. So I think if you meet anybody, you're lucky.
Mm-hmm.
Really.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Timing, I feel, is probably one of the biggest.
Timing
things.
is huge. Yeah, timing is huge.
Timing is huge. Like, there's a few people that I'm like, oh, if we had met a little bit later, maybe it would have worked out. If we would have met, like, there's a lot of people that I dated and it wouldn't have worked out then, but like, I see who they are now that they've been like married or have kids or whatever, and it's like, oh, I would have dated you, right? Like,
Yeah.
I would have dated you for a lot longer.
Right, but like you're young and dumb,
Yeah,
and
right.
yeah.
And we're all, we're in different stages, different things.
And you gotta be in a relationship to learn how to be in a relationship, which
Yes.
is kind of tough, right?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
it's hard to like build an airplane while you're flying it, which
Yeah.
is sort of what you have to do in human relationships
Yeah.
sometimes, even friendships sometimes.
Right.
So other people are difficult, and I think if you find other people that you like, whether it's romantically or as friends, you're pretty lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
So what did you do my word? I don't remember you doing my word.
I didn't.
Okay. How do you think what would sum up my relationships?
Read it again?
What's one word sums up my relationship? What one word sums up my experience with the opposite sex?
Friends. And the only reason I say that is because you are friends, or at least on good terms, with many of your exes as well.
And just women in general, I feel like I'm very friendly towards the opposite sex. Like, it's not
Yeah. And
I'm
it's
not that guy who only hangs out with dudes or whatever. Like,
yeah. And also, I think the fact that you can remain friends with people that you used to date says a lot about your level of maturity and their level of maturity too.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. Cool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I would have said. I would have said friend or friendly.
What is something I hate having to pay for?
Oh.
So many things. What is something I hate having to pay for?
Something you hate having to pay. Insulin supplies.
Correct. Yes. I hate having to pay for insulin. It is more expensive than it should be when a normal human body makes it for $0.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I hate having to pay for that. It seems just wrong and bad. Mm-hmm. And we don't need to get into it here, but yes, I hate having to pay for a normal human hormone that a normal human body makes, but mine is just not. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I feel like if your own body makes it, and you just, a person just happens to be gifted with a body that doesn't make it, they should just be able to get it for, cost.
But Allie, how are we going to force humans with diabetes to engage in the workforce if we don't force them to work to live?
I guess.
Right?
Yeah. Anyway, other stuff's expensive too. Other diabetes supplies are really expensive. Yeah. And I do wish everybody, I'm lucky that I can afford them. And I wish the same for everybody who is on the struggle bus with me, because it stinks and it's really hard, and there are tools that make it easier, and not everybody can access those tools and those treatments. I was watching a video the other day about inhalable insulin. What? Like fully just like an insulin, like an asthma inhaler, but insulin.
Really?
Yeah, I'm scared. I'm scared. I'm not interested in it.
Well, I'm sure. I mean, let them test it for a little while, and if it works out.
No, this was a person who was like testing it.
Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, it was wild. I have to do a lot more reading about it, but
that'd be cool.
Yeah,
I mean, if it works and it turns out to be a good thing.
But I'm just like, it seems like there's a lot less control. Like with a syringe, you pull up a specific amount and you push it until it's done, and you know that's the amount that went in your skin, provided you wait a couple of seconds before you pull the needle out so you make sure it all gets in there. Okay. But like with an inhale, I feel like if you don't inhale deep enough, or if you don't push it, like there's so many other factors there that, I don't know, it freaks me out a little bit. But
interesting.
Anyway, that was a video I watched on Instagram the other day.
Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
Allie, what's something that I hate having to pay for?
What do you hate having to pay for? I think Wow.
I honestly can't think of anything, but you know me so well that I
Yeah,
feel like whatever you say is going to be like, yeah, you're right.
Diet Coke at a bar. That's what I'm
Yeah,
going to say.
Diet Coke should be free at a bar.
Diet Coke should be free at bars.
Yeah, if you're the designated sober driver,
Yeah.
you should be rewarded with free Diet Coke.
Yeah. I agree. You should just get, here's a soda glass.
Yeah.
Maybe the soda glass looks a specific way so the bartenders know this person is about that soda life. Now I understand. People would bring a flask in and they would get the free soda. But in a world where people are always their best selves, you should not have to pay for
but if they're doing
it
it for free soda, they do it with $3 soda too. You know what I mean?
That's true. Yeah, that's true.
There's nothing stopping them from bringing their own flask to a bar.
Yeah, true.
So,
but at least the bar is making something off of that.
I guess that's true, yeah.
Yeah. Should we do one more each?
Let's do one more each.
All right.
Patrick. I've organized a protest of 5,000 people.
Have you?
What's it for?
Comics. Comic Sans. You are
end of Comic
protesting
Sans?
the end of Comic Sans. It's time to let it go.
No, let's be fair.
I also think you could get 5,000 people
You probably could. Yeah.
to
definitely
protest.
But I don't think anybody who is as adamantly against Comic Sans as I am is the type of person who would leave their house to protest.
You're not wrong.
I could probably do an internet protest. We could sign a petition, but we would not leave our houses.
That's so
to
funny.
protest. We're graphic designers. We have work to do. Time away from the computer is time lost.
That's so funny. That's funny.
But to be fair, I don't like Comic Sans because it is overly used in situations where it shouldn't be used.
But
it has its purpose.
Here's my question.
Yeah.
Why is it the only font where the A looks like the A that they teach you to write in elementary school? That's the problem with the other fonts.
Well, because
you're teaching kids how to write an A in a specific way, but no A's look like that. All the other A's have the little hat on, which I love. Don't get me wrong. A fashionable A, we love to see her.
It has the little pompadour.
Yeah, it's like got a cute pompadour haircut, little hat on. Like, we love her, but it's the only one where an A looks like the A that you teach kids how to write.
Yeah.
And so you're telling them, okay, you just figured out what letters are, right? You just figured out how to work your hands to make a letter. And now we're going to show you this thing that's not the thing that we told you that it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you want, let's go into it. I mean, that's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. I'm going to share my
a spin-off podcast about fonts.
Yeah. This is my completely what's it called?
Uncensored.
No,
unplugged.
not uncensored. When something's not like the official version.
Unhinged.
I can't think of the word now. Unofficial, I guess. Dash's unofficial guide to why Comic Sans looks like that and the other ones don't. So in the beginning of different fonts, there were like 7 fonts, right?
Yeah.
And they wanted one that sort of looked like...
one was bold and one was italic.
Right, yeah. And they wanted one that sort of looked like handwriting.
Right.
And that's where Comic Sans was born.
Sure.
Right? It was also the one that was used for comic books and the like to do the little letters in the bubbles without having to handwrite them. That's why it's called Comic Sans. The sans stands for the little adornments on it. So it's sans serifs, which means it doesn't have the serif adornment. Okay? All the other typefaces and fonts that came out around the same time were all based on printing press type fonts, which is what was used in books, etc. When we started using them in computers and...
Which is like a courier font.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And those are serif fonts, which means that like when the A has like the little stick at the bottom of it, the little base.
Sure, yeah.
That is a serif. Okay. So Comic Sans or Arial Sans are 2 types of fonts that don't have serifs. Now, everybody who was like, oh, I don't want to use like a stuffy font. I want to use a font that's more playful and want to make it look handwritten. They would use Comic Sans. The problem is that now there are literally hundreds of thousands of fonts that one can use that are similar to, but cleaner and way better than Comic Sans.
And I would argue much more playful.
And much more playful and don't look like they're 4 or 5-year-old's birthday party invitation.
Yeah.
So when you say, why is Comic Sans the only one that looks like an A? There aren't. There are definitely many more.
Are there? Okay.
There's a few that I use, like there's one called like Matt's Hand. There's another one called Bradley Handwriting. There's
so Matt and Brad, thank you for your fonts.
Thank you, Matt and Brad. Dolly Font, that's another one.
Thank you, Dolly Parton. I'm sure it's not your font, but
No.
I will attribute it to you, Miss Dolly Parton.
Everything for Dolly.
Yeah.
No, but there are several fonts that are in the category of handwritten fonts that look like that.
Okay.
Okay.
I got to look for
Some
those
of them
then.
are thicker, some of them are thinner, some of them look a little bit more casual or
Yeah.
whatever. Now,
Isn't there literally one called handwriting?
yeah, there's one called handwriting.
Yeah.
There's Lucida handwriting. I mean, there's so many. The sign painting is one of my favorites. But when you're doing stuff for kids, right, you don't want to use the stuffy Times New Roman or whatever, so you would use Comic Sans on their invitations. And yes, when you're first learning how to use fonts and how to write things,
Yeah.
you want to use Comic Sans because it's the closest to what they know as what letters are. But because of that, once you get older and start writing emails to your boss or emails to a vendor who you're trying to exchange money with, maybe don't have your default font set as Comic Sans because it has the connotations of belonging to children.
Yeah.
Right?
I'm a Georgia gal myself.
Georgia's a good one.
I think she's classic. I think she's cute. I think she's appropriate in all contexts. I like her.
I like a good Hotzenschaller. I love the Ariel family, you know, like those are all good. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was our podcast about fonts, I guess.
Yeah, we took a little break.
Yeah, that's
Went
fine.
on a side talk about fonts, and if you ever want to talk fonts, I could talk your ear off for a very long time.
That's true.
About
Dash
fonts.
loves to talk about fonts.
It's 90% of a graphic designer's job is just looking for fonts that fit a certain mood on your design. Yeah.
Which is honestly seems fun.
Mm-hmm.
Should we call it?
I think so. I think
Okay.
because we went on the tirade about.
Yeah.
Oh wait, Allie, what would you organize a protest of 5,000 people for?
I mean, insulin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Insulin.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You should.
Insulin costs.
You should. And
Yeah.
you probably get more than 5,000.
I would. Yeah. Yeah. I've signed many an online petition and done many a letter to people.
Yep.
So
If anybody ever asks you to
it's
sign one of
working.
those petitions.
Things are happening. Things are happening.
Good.
But
There's a long
also
road.
just remember in countries that are at war, there are people who need insulin and they're having a hard time getting it. So if you don't know how to help or don't want to take a particular position, remember there's always people who are caught in the crossfire who need medical supplies and diabetes medication.
Right.
So I think it's called A1 International.
Okay.
Is a good one.
Yeah.
And the Insulin for All movement, plug into those, and you can send insulin to people who really need it. Yeah. Good thing to do in the holiday season and in the always season,
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let's rate this.
So we already talked. I love the little notepad. It reminds me of like holiday labels or like the stickers that you might put on a letter, like a return label for a letter. So I love those. They're giving, they're giving holiday labels.
Pieces.
The box is great. It reminds me of like an improv stage just because of the chair and the
Yes.
spotlight.
Right,
I like
so
the
box
red
is
and
like
white H.
The box is a black matte box, and it has the picture on the front is a very stylish picture of a single chair with a spotlight on it.
You know
which
what?
is,
I'm going to
very
give the
improvised.
box a stand-up comedian's microphone before the stand-up walks out on stage. That's what it's reminding me of.
I like that. Yeah.
Cards. What do we think?
These are
How's the font, Dash?
the font is great. It's
Yeah,
a
I think
sans.
so.
It's a sans serif. It looks like Helvetica maybe.
I like it, and I like that the H is two-tone. It's like the chair.
Yeah.
I love it when there's like a little hidden treasure.
Yes.
Where the H is a red chair with a little tilt on it. And that's like one of those fun treats where you see it, and unless you actually pay attention, you don't realize it.
Right.
So I'm going to give...
like the arrow in the FedEx logo.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. So I'm going to give these cards an MC Escher drawing, where like the more you...
Wow.
Yeah, they're great.
Cool.
Stare at it and you find a hidden treasure.
I like it.
Playability, we didn't play it
The way it's
supposed to be played. I can see how it would be really fun if we did it that way. But I imagine it would be fun to play in a large group of people. Where someone is in the hot seat and someone is judging. That would be really fun. And you all get to use your little notebooks, which is awesome.
This would be great to play in a group of people, especially a group of people that don't all know each other.
Yes.
Because I remember I played something similar like this with somebody, and they were like, oh, but I know what everybody's handwriting looks like here, so I know who's
That's kind of
what.
a cheat code for any game with handwriting where you have to guess is like, well, if you know somebody's handwriting, it's a little cheat code. I had fun.
Yeah.
The questions are good. They're kind of surface questions, but you do have to think about them a lot, which I like.
Yeah.
And I could see how it would give me that feeling of panic that I like in a game where you like panic for a little bit of like, I don't know what to write. I like that feeling when I'm playing a game. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a fire alarm goes off, but it's a fire drill level of fun.
Just a false alarm.
Yeah.
I like
it. There's going to be a fire drill, but the second you hear it, you think there's a fire, and then you realize, oh, wait, no, it's the fire drill. That's the level of fun.
Cool. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. So once again, that was Hot Seat by Dice, spelled DYCE.
Dice.
And you can find this on your favorite retailer or hotseatgame.com. We'll go ahead and put their link down below. And I hope you had fun with this episode as we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Have fun being in your own hot seat.
Yeah. We'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Now we'd love to hear from you.
You can visit playdatepod.us to watch our videos,
Access our episode library,
find out more about our brand of quality, clean comedy,
and contact us with any questions or comments.
Improvisers love audience suggestions, so make sure you visit playdatepod.us.
And the podcast you just heard was a production of Society Circus Players.
If you like what you heard today, please rate, review, subscribe, and share it with a friend.
And finally, if life's a circus, we're the clowns!